Dystopia tonight. Dystopia tonight.
But like, it was cool. Like we know mutual people,
Yeah.
but we only knew about each other like randomly when I showed up at Catch a Rising Star.
I also randomly showed up.
That, which is funny because I thought like just from like you know what, like, you know what's cool, like some people have that like not like, it's like an attitude, but it's like an aura or whatever, where like they fit, they're supposed to be wherever you are. So I didn't know that was your first time. I just seen you like kind of chilling in the back of the room and watching everybody and like
hide.
and like talking. I didn't know you were trying to hide. I thought you were just like judging and talking shit. And then I was like, oh, I was like, oh, this I'm like, I don't know who she is, but she's obviously like half runs the place, so I should probably be nice. But then no, but then like we got to talking and stuff, and we know the same people, and it was your first time there, which was really super cool.
Yeah.
How'd you wind up landing that one?
Lisa, one of my best friends that I was sitting in the back trying to hide with that night, she's friends with one of the, I guess she's a promoter for Catch.
Oh, yes.
Jill?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm not really friends with Jill. She seems really nice, but I don't know her.
Okay.
Lisa knows her, and Lisa was like, "You got to go to this thing with me." And I was like, "Define what is this thing I have to go to with you?" Like, we can drink. I was like, "Okay, let's go."
Yeah, that usually that just about does it. And they're like, "Oh, there's gonna be alcohol there." You're like, "Okay, let's just fucking go."
And what's her face was there from Seinfeld that night. That woman with the voice that has that voice.
Who?
She sounds like she's sucking helium. The comedian.
Get the fuck out! Wait a minute. Who was there from Seinfeld? I have no idea.
That she was on Seinfeld. She played like George's girlfriend like a couple times, but I remembered her like vividly because she has a voice where she sounds like she was sucking on helium or whatever.
Oh my God.
What the fuck is her name?
I don't know, but you got to be. How did she didn't perform or anything, did she?
No, I think she was one of the comedians. Wasn't it like you, Julia, right?
Yeah,
And
Julia headline.
right, but then there was that other standby.
Yeah. No. It's fine. I know who it was.
No, it's not because now I need.
No,
to know.
it was Anita something.
Yeah, her.
She was on
That's what I'm
Seinfeld.
talking about. Yes.
See, okay, I've known Anita for a long. This is one of those that like I've known Anita for a bit, but I didn't know she was ever on Seinfeld or anything like that.
That's how I knew her because she started talking, and I was like, and then I had to look it up.
That's so crazy. All right, well then that's.
I have one of those weird brains where like I hear like I'll see somebody one time or hear somebody one time, and like 40 years later, I'm like, huh.
Oh man,
I know them from somewhere.
Like anybody on a lineup should be terrified of you.
Yes.
That's pretty great. You're like, one time is all it takes, and then you're fucking mine. That's pretty good. No, I didn't know that about it. That's so crazy. Now I want to call you. I just talked to Julia the other day, and Anita was over there because they were having dinner together. I had no idea. I could have mooched and swung over there.
Unless I'm like super duper wrong, but I'm rarely
You're probably
wrong.
right. I mean, I don't. It's so funny because like I don't ever, like, other comedians don't always like, unless you're like super famous, we don't always like dig into like kind of bit parts and shit that we've done. Like I've been friends with somebody, this one comic, her name is Rhonda Handsome, and we both do serious radio together, and we know a lot of the same people. And she did the benefit show that I did this year for the MS Society that I do annually or whatever. And out of the blue, we're all talking. There's like a whatever the hour was, and she's like, "Yeah, when I worked, when I was a puppeteer for Henson, on SNL," and I was like,
so cool.
Fucking
Stop.
Yeah, I'm like, and she just said it like it was nothing, and I was like, "What? When were you gonna tell me that?" She was like, "That was so a long time ago," and I was like, cool. "I don't give a shit." So yeah,
I still tell people cool shit I did. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, I know, right? Oh, I'm the same way. That's what, like, I love that the whole thing for our generation is like Throwback Thursdays, and really it's just like you're having a slow week, and you're like, remember when we were fucking cool as shit or in super good shape? Yeah, that's mine. Super good shape.
Or somebody's feeling like crap, and they're like, "There's a really good picture of me from like 1996. Let me."
Oh God, it's so fucking true. It's so sad. I really like that's the craziest thing. Like, I don't know if you're one of those people who like because we're around the same age, right? I mean, I'm near death, but I don't. I think we
How old
might.
are you?
Do we want to play this? No, I'll tell you. I'll be 40 in November.
Same. We're the same exact age. I'll be 40 in September.
Awesome. See, you don't look
Yeah.
like you're gonna be like you look like you're gonna be like 28. And
I feel like I'm 112.
oh, see, then okay, good. We're on the same page there. Nice shoulder action. Um,
That's the 112 dance.
oh, that's cool. That's the only. You're like, this is the only part of my body that doesn't hurt when I move it.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like we were like, but my friends and I talk about this all the time too. We're like, the nostalgia for us is so different than it was for like our parents or grandparents because we can make our own nostalgia and then play it back on like there's this dude on Reels on Instagram or whatever. You must be on TikTok too. I don't even know, but um where he just plays I think in the background constantly it's like the Lord of the Rings like Hobbit theme or whatever like that you know orchestral music and then
Yeah.
but it's like he plays like a version of his parents himself his sister you know what I mean or whatever it is and he's just like oh back in the day when you used to go to grandma's house and he's got all these old and like it literally plays out in real time so I'm like oh yeah of course we can't escape all the shit we miss because you just scroll and you see it all.
It's right there.
Yeah, it's brutal. They could escape it at least.
Totally.
They had to rely on remembering it. If there's shit I don't want to remember and it just pops up on my feed, I'm like,
Like there it is. That happened to me a couple days ago. It was like I'm on social media a lot, but like for business shit. But I'll, in the middle of like I'll send an email and then I'm like scrolling through crap. That's cute, I'll post it. That's cute, I'll post it. But in like, like 3-minute intervals
yeah,
at random times in the day. That's the extent of what I do. I never look at anybody else's shit because I don't care. And if it comes up, it comes up. And it's like,
noted.
that's it. Like somebody will be like, "Hey, did you see when I am like I saw when you nothing." I
Yes,
know it's not an insult. It's not and I'm over here hoping nobody looks at my shit either. Like,
that's so funny. Like, but no, you're right. I really wish I didn't look at like. I mean, I like scroll through and I look at everybody's stuff or whatever. But I really wish I could remember to like post and walk away. Because
yeah,
I
yeah.
post and then I circle back and then I start getting into everybody else's stuff and I just keep scrolling and I get hooked and then it's like, night turns into day and I've lost time and that's how this
Or
happened.
it's like I'll procrastinate. It is. I'll procrastinate though, like
Mm,
all day. I'm like, fuck, I hate social media. Fuck, I hate
yeah.
everything. And then I'm like, but I have to make this post or no one will come to my show. So
Yes.
then I sit there for like 45 minutes and I'm like, this is awful. Look at everybody's crazy. And then finally I'm like,
Yeah, exactly. I know it's fucked up. And like, but I also hate those people who like I'll go to have lunch with somebody and they're like, "Oh, so you probably already saw this." So, but I'll just feel and I'm like, "I pretend I don't follow you because I don't want you to just like fill me in with like, "Oh, did you not see my post about the thing that no, we're together. So just fucking tell me."
just tell me like it never was on
Yeah.
social media.
Yeah, exactly. Or what's yeah, oh my god. It's so but you know what's funny? People will like shit on you if they find out you did something without them. Like I'm like they'll pretend they
True.
didn't see any life event or whatever the fuck else is going on. But if like you were out and you didn't call somebody, they're like, "What the fuck?" I'm like, "I thought you didn't check my stories. You know, like I thought you
Yeah.
didn't see that
You
shit."
said you didn't look at my
Yeah,
post.
this is bullshit.
I was just testing you.
Yeah, yeah, I know it's crazy. So so you have like you're out all the time, you're performing all the time. I see you like as much as like we're dissing social media, you really do get your stuff up there and you're a dancer and you're a singer and like all
I'm
this other stuff.
trying.
But like, was this your original passion when you were a kid? Like, when did you start getting the itch to like perform and stuff?
So my original goal as a youngster, I'm told, was I told my mom I wanted to be a dancing doctor elevator operator. Because someone told me do what you love.
Wow.
And I was like, well, I love to dance, I love to help people, and I really love to push the buttons on the elevator. So
Oh, you mean okay? Because I was like, wow, how? I'm like, are you talking about like a pulley system elevator where you had like
the
the
buttons, because
metal
they lit up.
door and
They
yeah,
lit up.
yeah,
I would
yeah.
hit
No,
them
you're
and they
right.
would.
That's funny. Wow, a damn. That's cool.
Um, and then at some point, I always tell everybody I remember like I do remember the moment where I was like, I need to do this, and I was watching Janet Jackson's video for Together Again
Oh
on
wow.
MTV, and I was like, I want to be a performer.
Yeah.
That did it. That was it.
And then that was it. And then you just started dancing from like a younger age, and then like,
Yeah, I think I started dancing when I was around 6 or
oh my
7.
God,
Yeah,
that's crazy.
and yeah, I just kept on trucking, still trucking.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But like, so, but like, do you have one because you do so many things? Like, do you have one aspect of your life that's like your favorite? You know what I mean? Like, because like it's I always find like multifaceted people or multi-talented people like, like I'm like you got to pick one. You know what I mean? Like, if you could leave one behind, like, but or do you love it all?
I love it all. I really want to get back into acting,
Hmm,
and as soon as my son is in school full time in September, I'll start auditioning again. But I
nice.
really love television and film. Like that's, I love to dance, obviously. Also, I love to be on stage. I love that live concert feeling, when you're up there. But I really, really like working in television and film. So I definitely am going to get back into that when I have more time.
Yeah. Is it? But and you like that better than let's say because I find that like I like the immediate reaction of the audience. There's nothing like that, but you don't mind like not having that constant like what do you call it? Affirmation.
I I don't. I think that I really enjoy the behind the scenes aspect of all types of art. So, I produce shows, I direct shows, and I like being in television and film. There's almost that constant feeling of um that working behind the scenes, like you're shooting a scene, you think about it, you work on it, you check the script, you talk to everybody, you listen to the
Yeah.
director, you go back, you do another scene. So it just feels like a constant progression of that kind of behind the scenes element that I love.
Yeah. Do you remember your first show?
Oh, my first show, I do. Like as a child, like the very
Any?
first time I was on
Yeah.
stage. Yeah, I think I tap danced to the song Goody Goody.
Like, that's adorable. That's good.
It, it's a great song.
Yeah.
And I think I still have the little feather puff
Oh
somewhere.
my God, that's fucking adorable. What about the first one you got paid for?
Oof. Just got paid. I don't know. Wait, you're supposed to get paid for
Yeah, I know. I know.
this?
We all learned that a little late.
Yeah. I feel like probably it's something I did in high school, like maybe my junior or senior year of high school. I danced in a live concert. I did something with, I was like, I think I was a senior in high school and I did something with Alicia Keys, and it was for like Teen People magazine, like a,
Back up.
a live
You
concert
can't
thing.
just drop that
Yeah.
out there like it's nothing. So you did something with Alicia Keys?
I did. So this is how long ago it was. Teen People used to do something called What's Next.
Okay.
And they would do a feature in Teen People magazine. So that year it was like Alicia Keys, Ja Rule, Michelle Branch,
Oh my
and some
God,
other
Michelle
people.
Branch.
Michelle, what happened?
I don't know.
What's
I
going on?
remember like God, I remember like there was like a trailer for a horse movie and like one of her songs was in it, and I was like, I'm not like there was like it was like God, I
There
don't
was this
even
trailer for a horse movie.
swear to God. My friends and I were in the theater and there was like a trailer for a horse movie, and then boom, Michelle Branch, and we were like, oh, she's getting bigger.
Yeah. So it was that What's Next up and coming
Hmm.
concert that I danced in. And I think like Mandy Moore hosted it. So we did, yeah, I hung out with them.
Wow,
It's
I
cool.
love that you're
It's cool.
immediately name dropping right off the bat. This is great. I got it.
You asked me
I
what the
no no
first
no.
thing I got
I'm
paid for
no.
was.
I'm. This is what I love. Like I hate when people like withdraw stuff and then you really have to dig it out of them. You're just like boom boom. No, that's fucking sick. So wait. So like I'm always curious about this because I had friends who were. I think we probably know the same. You know Emily Grove a little bit, right?
I do. Yeah,
You know
she's cool.
she's the best. Yeah, I know Emily. I
She's
knew Emily
great.
through Angela Chiapelli. Angelia. Do you know Angela?
Oh, yes. Yes, yes,
Okay,
yes.
yeah. So she was. I've known Ange since we were, 12 years old, I think, or whatever. But whatever. But like, I always found it interesting, just because going to high school and growing up with her. Um, were your friends? How did they react to you? Like, because it is weird when like you have a group of people who know you're not going to do the normal shit, and you're gonna
Yeah.
like, and you're already in high school, but you're already not doing the normal shit. So you're like, what?
Right.
Like, but how was that for you? Like, how was your like? Did you
Um,
have that mindset that you're like, yeah, I'm not gonna be doing
I
that.
feel like high school was just a nightmare in general. But
Yep.
I chilled with the theater kids, and I was very
Oh.
involved. Like we chose the school that I went to high school. I went to that high school to do theater.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I hung out with the kids who weren't going to do normal shit.
Oh,
But I
so
remember
you
it was
knew
like,
like right away.
yeah. No, I
Oh,
knew I
wow.
wasn't normal immediately. So did everyone else.
That's cool though. Yeah, yeah. You're like, no, we all caught on pretty quickly. Um,
Yeah, I remember it was like weird though. They made an announcement over the loudspeaker and like morning announcements that I was doing that, and I was like, guys, you fucked up my whole day. Thanks for watching.
yeah,
Sorry, am I allowed to do that?
yeah, you're fine.
You have
You
to
can
bleep
say
that out.
fucking
Okay.
whatever the hell else you want, all you want.
Don't
Curse.
tell me that.
Yeah, just drop it whenever you need to. What was the what was
Jersey
like?
Girls coming out.
Yeah, do it. Just fucking let loose. It's fine. I don't give it. You know me. But yeah. So when you got the Alicia Keys thing, like, what was the? Did you have like a plan afterward? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how do you build your career like through that? Like, was that a good
I
stepping
feel like
stone?
it peaked then, and that was it. It was all downhill for me after that.
Yes.
No, it was a cool experience, and yeah, I mean, I always knew that was what I was going to do, regardless of who I did it with, how I did it, when I did it, and I feel the same now. It's like this is kind of all I've ever done.
Yeah.
So
Do
yeah.
you? No, that's awesome. I just can't like it's so crazy to have that happen when you're younger and just know exactly what you want and then to keep going for it no matter what. Like like because other people you watch your friends go through stuff and they're like changing major, changing jobs, changing whatever, and then people like us are just like, nope, we're gonna keep we want this one fucking thing, and maybe like did you ever have any like other than this like was there something else that you thought like okay maybe I might lean on teaching or something like that?
Well, I did teach for a while.
Hmm.
I taught preschool for a
Oh
while,
shit.
and just
That's
kind
cool.
of like in between. And I had a dance studio for about 9 years, so I taught
Oh
all types,
wow.
acting classes, theater classes, dance classes, creative writing. So I did that for a bit. But I do love teaching. I have to say, like, I don't think at this point in my life, especially being a mom now, I don't think I would go back into it.
Okay.
Just because it does take so much. If you do it right, it takes a lot of passion and energy and all of that. And I feel like I want to dedicate that to my son and my career at this
Mhm.
point. So in order to teach from the heart wholeheartedly, I this is not a thing I want to be doing right now.
Yeah, no,
So
no, I totally understand. Is your
everybody's
son
like, don't you miss it? I'm like, no.
does your son understand what you do yet? Like does he get
He
that like you're a
does.
performer? Oh, that's cool.
He does. Yeah, he does. He just had his first dance recital,
Nice.
and somebody was like, "Are you gonna go? Are you gonna go to your recital?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm going to work. I have dance work today." I was like, "Okay."
Oh, that's awesome.
He's like, "Oof, this is hard work." I'm like, "At least he knows."
Yeah, yeah. So now you've got like, certain things that you've been doing for a bit. You have your own company essentially, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
talk a little bit about like what made you start because that's another thing too is I feel like performers not aren't necessarily like as entrepreneur. You know what I mean? Like it's one thing to be able to like manage yourself and guide your career and like hone your own talent, but to have the business sense to do other things too is fucking annoying that you have that. You know what I mean? Because I'm bad at like I just like I have to do it, but I fucking hate it.
Yeah.
And it seems like
Yeah.
you're very good at it, and
I am good at it
I
in
know
it.
you are, and it's real. Like but like, go for it. Just explain that to me.
Isn't it a bizarre? It's a bizarre thing
It
to
is.
be, because people tell me all the time, they're like, "You're so good at people and you're so well spoken, and like you can just get up in front of a crowd and just improv and talk and whatever." I'm like, "I know, it's awful." Like I just like, so to be like, people assume if you're good at something, you love that thing that you're good at,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean that, really. It doesn't translate to that all the time. You can be
Right.
great at something and not love it.
Right.
So I just always felt that, I was lucky, and I worked really hard and was always kind of, what do they say now? Blessed. Blessed. Was I
It's
blessed?
hard to not
I was
avoid. It's hard to avoid that word because I think the
that
same
word,
thing
right?
too, and I'm
I
like,
try though. But
fuck,
I
yeah, me
was
too.
always, I guess that's the word then. I
Luck. I
guess
would
we're
say
just gonna
lucky.
use
You could say
it.
lucky.
I mean, sometimes is it luck though? Because I kind of busted my ass.
Oh. Yeah, I guess that's a good
You know?
point. But
So
blessed
it's
means
not
even, I
blessed
mean,
either.
blessed is divine in it. I don't know. I don't know if it's, I don't know what you would say. We'll go
I
back in
have
and edit it in
always
post.
had, let's I have always had
There you go. The drive.
opportunity.
Yeah.
Um, but I also always wanted to make sure that I was in charge of my own career and had this performing arts company to create those opportunities for myself if at any point, because my fear was always that, well, if I am auditioning and I don't get something, or I'm not booked, or I don't have a job, I want to always make sure that I can create opportunities for myself, and I can create opportunities for other people
Yeah.
who want them, need them. So
And that's,
I always, yeah.
I was going to say no. And that's the other thing that's really cool too, is that you are creating opportunities for other people, which I feel like, again, in our business, not everybody kind of automatically looks out for, everybody else, like helping them on the way up. But I think that builds community.
It does, and that's really important to me. Like, to have that creative community around me has always been something that's been important to me. And when I had my performing arts studio, like my best friends had keys, and I would walk in and somebody was there, and I'm like, "What's up?" And they were on the couch, and like, so that's the kind of like, I need that. And
Yeah.
some people don't, but that's definitely a huge part of my heart, is creating that community for people too.
Yeah, that's really awesome. I mean, and it's good, and you guys will all look out for each other and stuff too. So, which is really
Yeah.
nice. Comedians have that a little bit, but not that much. It's like it's real touch and go. Like we have,
Well, it's that way with, I think, anything where you're with humans all the time,
yeah,
especially in a creative way,
yeah,
being a dancer, an actress, a comedian, anybody. It's
totally,
in that creative world, it is touch and go.
yeah, absolutely. And I see, like, how long does it take for you to learn, like a performance? Like, how are you? Like, what's your method behind, like, okay, I got a job, I got a gig to do, and they want me to learn. Like, what do you do?
It varies. I mean, some of the dance gigs that I do are improv. Some of them
Oh,
require me to create something, choreograph something on my own for myself, and I'll work on it a little bit. But I mean, it depends. Like when we do Velvet Stardust, which I'll get into in a little bit,
sure.
but people are always like, "Oh my God, that choreography looks so great. You guys must have rehearsed for, a month." And I'm like, "Actually, we rehearsed one time." So, but it's like, I think a lot of people assume that there's a long rehearsal process when there's not. And it's
Right.
important for me to have the type of people on board that can make it look that way, and
Sure.
with minimal time. Yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing too, is like finding that core group. Um, because when you said improv, like I don't know what improv is. I mean, obviously, like I've seen like dance performances that are, what do they call them? Um, oh my fucking god, what is wrong with me today? Uh, you know, um,
How much time do we have?
I know, right? Interpretive dance. Like that's.
Yeah.
Would you consider that to be improvisational at the same level that you're talking about, or
Um,
it's not the same?
some of it is and some of it's not. But by improv, like with dance, I mean, the band will give me the set list, and like, I perform with a really cool Motown band called Motor City Review.
Yeah,
And we've done, pretty much the same songs. They'll switch them up sometimes, and the same 10 or 12 songs in a set, and then they'll switch it up. But I'm I've known all those songs my whole life. Like those
sure.
are songs that I love. So it's really easy for me to get up there and
Mhm.
improv. Some of it we choreograph ahead of time. If it's a song where Leone, who heads up the band, like if she's like, "Hey, I really want something for this and this is what I'm thinking," we'll choreograph that ahead of time. But some of the numbers are just like, I know the song by the Jackson 5 so well that I can get up there and kind of make it look like we made it up.
Oh, that's really great. Okay, that's cool. Cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's awesome. Is there a favorite like piece or song that you enjoy more than any other?
Oh, someone just asked me this the other day, like what my favorite songs were to dance to, and I feel like they're really random. Um, Here's one for you. I've been really listening hard to the Goofy movie soundtrack again.
Shut the fuck up.
I'm so
I
obsessed.
Are you my friend and I honestly, if somebody was like Powerline concert announced, I would be like, I don't know who's
We're
doing it.
doing this.
Yeah, right, exactly. Oh my
We'll
god.
talk after.
Do you do let's please. Have you done like the perfect cast?
Well, yes, constantly, always since it came out. But like,
I don't
you
need a
know,
video of that.
no, oh no. Well, so I made the kids in my dance studio do like After Today and Stand Out and all those songs
That's so
probably a
good.
bazillion times when they were younger.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to I just messaged one of the singers in Velvet Stardust, which is like, a rock and roll burlesque show, and I'm like, we're doing like a birthday celebration for me in September or whatever, and I'm like,
Oh, nice.
I'm picking the songs, and because it's my party, and I'll power line if I
Jam
want
out.
to.
Yeah, fuck Powerline if you want to. That might be what I call this episode.
Oh
That's
my God, yes,
that's
do
pretty
it.
great. Oh my
Um,
god, I love that you just
but
said that.
yeah, and my son is like, "Mommy, it's my turn," and I'm like, "No, it's still my turn. We haven't listened to Eye to Eye yet, but when that's done, you go ahead."
Oh my god, eye to eye. That like no matter what that pops up, like I doesn't care if it's the same reel but a different variation of it. I just my friend and I just send it to each other all the time. We're like
Oh
Powerline,
my God,
Powerline, eye to eye. I have an
yes,
eye to eye T-shirt with the dance
but
steps
oh,
on it.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it, but it's one of those things where it's so precious to me and probably only like 5% of the population, and I'm talking to one of them now, but it's like I God, I would have to do it right and do
Yeah.
it justice. So I'm thinking about it. And I do know a few other people that really love it
Oh my
also,
god.
but it's such an underrated
It's an
soundtrack.
under like exactly, and that song alone should have been on the fucking radio every day. Like,
Constantly. Why is
oh,
it not?
I don't know.
Let's start like some kind of fucking campaign,
Yeah,
hashtag,
there's nothing else going on in the world.
whatever.
People can take their time to
No,
sign this petition.
why not?
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know what we'll do? We'll tie it into We'll be like free Palestine, but also play eye to eye while you're doing it. Um,
Right. Close.
yeah,
We'll intertwine
not a
them
bad idea.
somehow.
No, that's I'll cut that by the way. Jesus Christ.
I'll cut it because
Um,
it's the truth.
no, yeah, no, I'm not gonna cut. I always say I'm gonna cut stuff, and I never cut anything, unless people specifically ask. But then I'm like, we'll see. Um, like, no, that's so crazy. I was joking, like in my head, I thought you were gonna say like a Disney song, and then you were like literally said a Goofy movie, and I was so excited. No, that's really cool. That's great.
But yeah, I feel like, Janet Jackson is
But like, let's say
always a
genre
big one for
wise, would you
me.
lean more towards 80s or like 90s? Like, what's your
80s forever.
yeah? That's what I felt like when I
Yeah.
was yeah.
Yeah, the 80s music is just my jam and
Mm,
everything for me.
no,
That's it.
I get it.
But there are a few 90s bands or things that I'm attached to also
Well,
because that
Spice
was
Girls.
kind of
I
the thing.
didn't want to like I'll say it for you. I know I was like I said
Thank
90s and I
you.
was like I thought you were gonna lean in that direction. I'm like, it's fine. But yeah, Spice Girls are like
Yeah, I'm a big Spice Girls fan.
yeah.
Super cool. I mean, not even, and this is not meant as an insult, but not so much the music as the movement. It's more
Oh
for
yeah.
me like the whole um, my brother and I joke that like we were raised by the Spice Girls, but we were because we watched so many of their interviews
Sure.
and read so many of the things that they said, and I feel like a lot of that is really super ingrained in me, and a lot of the whole like, girl power
Yeah. It's so
is
funny that that kind of stuff like you that was like ingrained in our youth growing up. Like Spice Girls are
for
just like
sure.
whether you listen to them or not. Like I know like
Right.
if like I'm sorry if you like liked women or hung out around with like you just were you had to. Like Spice Girls were
Yeah.
just in your life. Friends' birthday parties were Spice Girls themed.
Yeah.
Car rides with their dads were like just the CD would pop in and you'd be like, this is what we're listening to all the way to the fucking zoo.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Like it was just great.
Yeah, it was a huge part of my and another huge part of me wanting to be a performer
Mhm.
was definitely the Spice Girls, Janet Jackson and the Spice Girls.
As far as like dancing and choreography goes, though, is there anybody that you emulated in the very beginning, or is there anybody that like you would call like a influence?
I mean, I was definitely a dance competition kid, and we used to go to dance conventions, and I worked with a lot of choreographers at those. So I feel like a lot of that is part of me, but definitely Janet Jackson.
Nice.
Again, like that would be a lot of my people always say like, I would always do like shoulder things and whatever. And they're like,
Hmm.
"Oh, you dance a lot like Janet Jackson choreography." I'm like, "Well, yeah, that's because that's what I was like watching all the time.
That's what I
So
absorbed
that's how it
as a child.
happens."
Yeah, she raised me.
She did.
That's cool. Have you ever had the opportunity to meet her?
I have not met Janet Jackson. I have met the Spice Girls.
Oh, wow, I did not know that. What was that like?
It was cool. Yeah. I mean, I don't
You're
like.
like,
I
no
don't get.
details. We
Well,
just
no, no. I mean, I'll give you the deets,
no,
but
no. I'm
I
just kidding.
just, for me, like meeting a celebrity, I'm not the type of person that's like, oh my god.
Okay.
Even if it is somebody that I really love, I mean, they're people, and
Yeah.
it's a cool opportunity to be like, hey, you know what, like you shaped a lot of
Yeah.
who I am as far as a performer. So like, thanks, that was really cool.
Yeah.
And that's always important to me to, I think life is short, and it's important if you get the opportunity to meet somebody who kind of shaped you and made you choose the career you chose. I
Yeah.
think it's important to be like, hey, thanks, that was cool. Like,
Absolutely. And you do have to say it and do it for you and not for the reaction, because their reaction may depend on their mood that day. So they may just be like, who are you? Or
right,
like, well, why did I? All
right.
right. Yeah, whatever.
But it's, I get it. I mean, like people, and obviously I'm not saying to that degree at all, but it's a similar feeling
Sure.
when I've just done a 2.5 hour show and there's people standing in the lobby that want to talk to me. And it's like,
Dudes. You
it's
could say
not,
dudes.
it's not the same, but it's the same in
Yeah.
the sense where it's kind of like somebody's like, oh my God, that was so great when you did this. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, thanks. Great. Have a great
I
night.
know
But
it is funny.
I think that's an important connection to make.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And these people paid money and showed up to see me, and I hope that whoever I met and talked to feels the same way. It's like, we're all humans. We all are trying to support each other, and I think,
Yeah.
we do our best.
And yeah, and it's not like I do the same thing like after shows and stuff. Like I always try to make time and talk to people and yada 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 and answer questions and stuff. And then, but my best friend and I, when we go out on the road together, we do have a signal where like if somebody's being a little bit weird or like this, whatever, and we'll do one of these or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like we'll
Yeah.
walk up to each other and be like, we gotta go. We're almost. Are we not gonna wrap up? We gotta go to that thing. And I'll be like,
Yeah.
fuck yeah, you're right. Like because
Yeah.
we did one show recently like and I don't know like sometimes like it's so funny like the amount of people who have like no boundaries
Oh,
when you're
none.
and I'm sure you get this a
None.
lot too, but like there's this drunk woman like with her and her husband was just front and center, and she was just like, I have to ask, can I touch your hair? And I was like, oh no. And then she did it anyway. And then my
Right. Oh
friend
no,
that I
she
was with,
didn't want your answer.
no,
She was
she
just
didn't want my answer. And it was funny because her husband was there and he was just kind of looking like, I'm going to let this happen. You need to let this happen. And I'm just kind of like, I don't want it to happen though. Like, this is not, but like,
yeah,
people are
no.
fucking wild. They're
No,
just crazy.
we just did a meet and greet recently after a show. And there were people, I guess so I said to my cast before we went out, I was like, listen, we're capping this at 15 minutes. I've told the venue we're capping the meet and greet at 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I will get you out of there. So, it's like, we got this, we're okay. And like
I love
Lisa
that.
and I always have like, a word that we'll say if we're ever, and like, 'cause we do things together all the time, you know, um, professionally, personally, whatever. It's like, but we always joke around that we have like, what's the word for the day that'll get us out of this situation? If we say this out loud to each other, we know,
Yeah,
book it out.
absolutely.
So
That's smart. I love that.
yeah.
Yeah. And again, we love all of you, but it's just sometimes you're a lot.
Oh, it's all love. It's just
Yeah.
don't touch me.
Love at a distance. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, love it. Yeah, it's fine. So then now when did Stardust start? Because and also get into the like, history name of it, the whole thing.
Yeah.
'Cause I think I know.
So okay, so Stage Stars Productions is the name of my production company, but under that umbrella, I
Hmm.
have a few current like live shows that we do. So one of them is the Starlight Jazz Show. So we just did a big show at the Green Room 42 in Manhattan. We did a tribute show from Marilyn Monroe's birthday.
Nice.
So we did, the first act was all songs that people either wrote about her or songs that she loved personally, or it was like act one was like a personal thing for her, and then act
Sure.
two was all Marilyn songs that she sang
Nice.
in movies and stuff. So that was cool. So that was the jazz show. But typically with the jazz show, that was just like a one-off thing. We do a lot of like New Orleans style jazz, and like get up and dance kind of music. We
Oh,
do some
cool.
classics. So that's one thing that I do. But there's dancers involved in that show also. So that's the Starlight Jazz Show. And then the Velvet Stardust Rock
Wait,
Show
I want to ask
is
you
a
before we go into
yeah,
that, and we'll cut.
yeah.
But like, so when you had said, you do some of them are like Marilyn's favorite stuff. How much research goes into like, because like finding that must have been, interesting because obviously she's passed away. It's hard to find out a lot of information, but to find like somebody you're giving a tribute to their former like favorite songs, was it difficult, hard to do the research on that? Like, who does that?
So, me. I put the I in team because it's only me. Um, so well, I was someone. We'll back up a little first. So someone said to me that what a great idea. Like, where did you come up with the idea to do this show? And I was
Yeah.
like, well, I was watching murder TV one night. And I was like, it was like was Marilyn Monroe murdered? And I was like, oh,
Oh.
because they've now combined my two favorite things, murder and the performing arts. And so I was like, whoa. And then I like I'm like texting Lisa. I'm like, you could be Marilyn, right? You could totally do Marilyn. She's like,
Nice.
what's going on? But yeah. So I was just watching a couple documentaries on her life, and it was really interesting. So I immediately, I knew some things just vaguely, but I immediately started researching and kind of found a little bit of that information regarding, who and what she liked and all that stuff. But when I decided to do the show, I did do a lot of research, read a lot of articles,
Nice.
and put a lot of thought into what songs we picked. Yeah.
That's awesome. And how much time does that take you before, like, what, like, because does the anticipation of wanting to do a show ever almost get in the way of like how much work you have to do to prepare to? Because sometimes I get excited about a thing and I'm like, fuck, like I can't do it yet until it's ready.
I'm a little different. I'm kind of I don't know if impulsive is the word because impulsive implies that there's not thought that goes into it, but
Mm.
my thought process is like rapid fire.
Mm-hmm. You
It's
have a spontaneity
ADHD.
towards you about you.
Yeah,
No.
that's a nicer way of saying it. Uh, but yeah, no, I mean, when I know that I want to do, I mean, there's always ideas. I think when you're a creative being, there's always ideas bouncing around in your head at any given moment.
Sure.
But there's a certain feeling that I get when I know that it's a thing I'm gonna do and that I want to do, and those things for me are like almost immediate. They're not the ideas that have been bouncing around for a while. They're the ones where I'm like, oh no, this is happening,
Right.
and I do it pretty quickly.
That's pretty great.
Yeah.
So that's good. Good turnaround time.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I interrupted you.
No, it's
Interrupted
all
you
good.
before, so you were going back
It's all
into
good.
your companies.
Yeah, I was going to talk about Velvet Stardust.
Yeah,
So,
please.
yeah, the Velvet Stardust Rock Show. It's about 2 years and change old now. Similar story, not watching a murder documentary this time, but those were, well, I probably was, but that's not what show it came from. But I had an 80s show that
Mm-hmm.
my company was doing that we were doing for a while. We did at Crossroads in Garwood.
Oh, I
We did
love
all over.
Crossroads. I'm going there on
Super
Sunday.
cool. Nice, nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell Lee I said, what's
I
up?
will. I will. I will.
Yeah.
Just like that.
But yeah, what's up? Oh, he'll know it's me. Say it like that. He's like, you were talking to Jamie. But yeah, him and I were just kind of chatting, and I'll always like call him and be like, hey, you got any open dates? Like, what's up? What do you got going on there?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I have one in like 2 weeks. And I was like, I'm doing it. So I kind of took the 80s show that we had, and I said to him, I have always wanted to pull the trigger on a rock and roll burlesque show with like a live band,
Nice.
choreography, you know, multiple dancers across the stage, costumes, the whole thing. And he's like, yeah, go for it.
Mm-hmm.
So we put it together in 2 weeks, I think it was.
Wow.
And it had such a magical feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, this is going to be something that I keep doing, and this is going to be something that does well. Like, we knew it immediately when it happened.
Nice.
So yeah, I've been doing it since, and it's really kind of taken off, and We played this past November. We were at the Whiskey in LA, so that was
Oh,
fun.
that's such a
Um,
great. I love that.
it's a really cool venue. I mean, the history, there's such history
Seriously.
there. So yeah, you
Yeah.
kind of just like
And
go
that's
through
like
people's
one of the places that
lives.
survived. So, yeah. Yeah.
You're like, damn, okay.
There's the shoulders. Yeah.
That's it. But yeah, so we did that. That was cool. We all got to travel together.
Sweet.
We played with some. We brought about half my band, and then played with some really awesome musicians out in LA.
Nice.
So we met some people out there. We know if we go back, we have a band, so that's cool. We had a residency for a little over a year at the Stonewall Inn, where we were doing a monthly show
Very
there
cool.
in Greenwich Village. Yeah, and so we still go back there every once in a while, but that was a huge part of the show kind of taking off and building a fan base, and us getting to know the set list and what we wanted to keep, and what was things that we were going to work towards. So that was cool. And when's the next one? We've got one. I guess they should promote. um,
Go
we've
for
got
it.
one on June 20th at Salty's Beach Bar.
Oh, cool.
So that'll be cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I have friends that played there before, and they were like, it's dope, and people will come out and like, so try it. So we're gonna be there for the first time. And then we'll be back at Stonewall in September.
Nice.
And then in October, we're going to do a really cool Halloween themed show at the Mock Chunk Opera House in
Oh.
Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania, which is like my favorite. I hate to say this because I probably shouldn't, but it is like my favorite place to play.
No. We always ask
Yeah.
people what their favorite place is. I mean,
Oh my
no
God, I love it
disrespect to the other
there.
places, but
Not at all.
everybody's got a.
But
Yeah.
that is just, it's a really cool little town. Have you been to Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania?
I have. I can't remember where, but or what for what venue, but yeah.
It's kind of like, because people are like, what's it like? And I'll say it's like, it's a little bit like New Hope,
Yep.
Pennsylvania. It's got like that kind of vibe, but a much smaller town.
Yeah.
But this opera house, it's kind of like a haunted, very like red velvet curtains, and the people that run it are like super on top of their game, wonderful to work with. Everything is easy, like no drama.
Right.
People come out, like it's just the coolest place. So we're excited to do a Halloween show because I love Halloween. It's my favorite holiday. I wish it was Halloween every day.
Oh my God. I was just
And
saying to somebody
so
the other day, I was like, I'm like it like I walked into a like a what was that? What are they called? Hobby Lobbies or whatever the fuck it was. I was looking for like a piece of
go
furniture.
to Happy
And
Halloween.
dude, and like immediately when you walk in, if you look to the left, it's like fucking Halloween. And I like I just wandered over and I was like, oh my God, I wish it was Halloween already. Like I'm so like I like summer, but I feel like, oh man, this is so lame. But I was gonna be like, in my old age. I think I've leaned into like I'm just a big fall guy. Like I like Halloween, I like things, yeah, I like Christmas, So I like all
Yeah,
of that shit. Don't mind
I'm
summer,
not
but
like, I like summer, but I wish, wouldn't it be cool if Halloween was in summer? I don't know. I'm not super into the fall.
oh
But
really?
I do Halloween. I'd
All right,
rather just be. I don't like being chilly. I don't like the chill in the air and the
gotcha.
leaves blowing and all those beautiful fall things people love. I really love summer, but Halloween is.
Yeah, I like I like the longer day. Everything about summer that's like longer days and the nice weather and all that other shit I enjoy. But it's just like there's
Nice
nothing
weather and all that other shit.
all that other shit. You know what I mean? Everybody else,
Please list what is all the other shit.
the food and
Oh,
the people, I guess, and
right,
all the.
right,
I live in
right,
a short town. I mean, we got Benny's, so I can't say I love all the people. But what do you?
right.
Yeah, you grew up. Where did you grow up? Tom's River? No,
Edison,
Edison.
Edison.
Oh, a
Yeah.
nicer town. So that's
Is it
like
though?
I think I mean I remember you guys having you know what? I don't know because it was the place my friends and I used to go to get good sushi.
Oh, okay. Yes,
Yeah. So that's how
fair.
I know it.
I agree. But well, so I grew up in South Edison, so there was always this
Oh
kind
yeah.
of South side, North side. So we called the South side ghetto sin, and the North side was like nicer, where the kids with money live.
Sure. Yeah.
So,
Okay. So
well,
then
I think I
all
have a
right.
T-shirt somewhere that says no side, since we used to call Edison no side.
That's
But
great.
we were in it. We had like street sports teams. Like our street would battle
Right.
like a street from the North side.
Yeah.
We were pretty Edison serious growing up, I think.
No, dude, I like yeah, Tom's River. There's like South Tom's River, which is stupid, which is amazing because it somehow like yeah, and then like no, like it's just it's but like yeah, all of Tom's River it's worse now, which I'm happy about because at least I can be like, yeah, back in my day, we used to have, but like, but it's so much worse now, and it's such a bummer. I don't live there anymore, but it was a real, you know, it was okay. It was just one of those towns that you were happy to get away from when you were a kid. So like it
Yeah.
didn't like there wasn't anybody that was like, oh, I'm gonna set roots down here. We are like, are you?
Yeah.
Like that's
Maybe don't do that.
yeah,
Yeah.
maybe not a good idea. Um, no, that's crazy though. Are you like do you like staying in New Jersey? Do you like aspirations to move to California? Like where do you want to take like this, you know,
I would
company
love
and
to live in New Orleans.
really?
Yeah, I really would.
First of all,
Or just like, New York. Not I like California. I like the weather. But
hmm,
I don't necessarily I wouldn't want to live in LA.
yeah, California is the summer of states. Like
Yeah.
so if you like, 70 I lived in California for 2 years and it was good and bad. It was like somewhat because like it's a lot of pressure to be happy every day. And I feel like every day is 75 and I'm not used to that. I'm a New York, like, you know what I mean? Like I was born in Brooklyn. Like it's just,
Just like I want to live in New York
I
where I
need
could be
one
sad if I
cloud,
want
Yeah,
to.
yeah. I'm like, but every day everyone's like, I don't know, man. It just seemed like everybody was on the go all the time. And some days I would just be like, no, we can't do this every day, can we?
Yeah, LA, I mean, I love it. Don't get me wrong. And there was like a huge part of my life, I would say like the better part of, I don't know, like 6, 7 years where I would go out for a couple weeks every month and go on auditions and like
Yeah.
hang out. And so, I met people out there and did stuff, but yeah, I wouldn't want to live there. But definitely I think New Orleans or New York, something like that, just where there's still like a heavy arts and music vibe, but
Yeah. Well,
um,
like so, I mean, I think we all kind of handled the pandemic and the lockdown kind of differently, but you're so active, in like your community, the arts, and all that other shit too. Whereas, did it drive you nuts? Like, how did you like? Because everybody found a different creative outlet though too. Like, what did you do when you couldn't
so
perform?
I did shows outside on a farm.
Fan fucking tastic. Where
Oh,
was
and
this
it
farm?
was. So it was in Flemington? Yes,
Oh, my buddy
Flemington.
has a farm. Well, no, I can't say that. My friend who dated this dude had a horse farm in Flemington.
Yeah, so we did the Rocky Horror Show
Oh,
and we did
sick.
Clue. But it was like at the part of the pandemic where people still had to like huddle in grass circles.
When you guys
Like
did
we
when you
couldn't
guys did Clue, was the murderer always COVID? Because that'd be pretty great. You're like, I'm gonna guess it's the dude without a mask breathing on
the guy
everybody.
coughing, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you were
Um,
like, yeah, no, that's it. That's what killed. No.
but yeah, that's what we did, and damn, we sold like there were like 600 people out there to see Rocky Horror. People
That's
were coming from
awesome.
like other states and like driving and like getting hotels out in Flemington just to like do something.
That's
So
very
it was
cool.
great.
Yeah, that's very, very cool though.
We sold like hay bale seating and hay wagon seating.
Wow, that's
Um,
impressive.
it was cool. And Clue out on the farm. I mean, I've done Clue since in like a theater.
Sure.
Um, but
Yeah.
that I mean, we built the stage. We pushed hay wagons together, and so I was working with these people that owned this farm that had no idea about. I mean, they do a really cool haunted house every year, but they didn't have any concept about like theater and productions and shows or whatever. So we would have
Mm.
these production meetings, and they're like, "Well, we can push the hay wagons together. I think we can make it work." I'm like,
I think I've
"Whoa,
been to that haunted.
pandemic!"
I think I've been to that thing in Flemington. I wonder if it's got to be the same. I have to look up the name of it, but my friends and I used to go every year,
Yeah.
and
So we did that and
that's
it
really
was
cool.
awesome. And I'll mention this too because someone just recently made fun of me for this, but I think it was pretty cool. I did I did drive-by scavenger hunts for the kids in town.
Oh wow!
And so I would organize like a Google map and I would get people to sign up so like everything was themed. So of course I did like a pirate one first because of
Sure.
course anytime somebody's like, give me a theme, I'm like pirates immediately. Um, so pirates then a goofy movie.
Yeah.
So so we would do different themes depending on what month it was or whatever. And so people would sign up. and at like the neighboring towns did it too. I think it was like 5 or 6 surrounding towns involved, but so like for the pirate one, I would give them all an item. So the hope was that the family would sit down together and create this thing. So like say it was a treasure chest, so they would sit down together, color this treasure chest or make it however they wanted. I mean, some people got like super creative.
That's cool.
And they would put it someplace either in their window, on their door, or on their front lawn. And so I would do the Google map and ping all the places where these things were, and then that way these kids could drive by with their families and like check off, oh, I found this, I found that. And now I would give out prizes, so they had to take pictures of everything, submit them. It was cool.
That's awesome. That is fucking sick.
I had to keep myself busy.
I don't blame you. I mean, I did this, and then but oh man, I love drive by scavenger. I know you did this for kids, but like, do we?
Oh, adults did it.
Oh, adults did it too. Do
Yeah,
you?
yeah.
Oh God, so you'll love this. So my friends and I, we used to do scavenger hunts in high school. I don't know if you did that too. Okay, so uh, like, and we would put shit on there that like a dildo, you know what I mean, like whatever, like it just
For
like
sure.
you had to find a like. So one day there was like that a bunch of weird shit. We had to get a net. Somebody had to cut a net, a soccer net. So we had to do that off of like
Okay.
the intermediate school soccer net or whatever. Garbage can or whatever. A mattress, which do you remember they used to just be thrown out to the street like
Yeah.
sometimes? So whatever. I was
Probably shouldn't touch
on the
those.
scavenger list one night, and I didn't know, obviously, and like
They
they had
had to get you.
yeah, and so instead of invite like so my buddy calls me and he's like, "What are you doing right now?" And I'm like, and I was like, I don't know, it must have been like 8:30 or whatever that was, and I'm like, I'm in my pajamas, I'm like throwing out the garbage, and he was
They're
just
like,
like,
perfect.
yeah, and he was like, "Stay
Got it.
outside, we'll be right there," and I was like, "What the fuck?" And then he runs out of his car, picks me up, and then throws me in the back of their Jeep, and then just takes off. And I was like, "What the fuck is going on?" Like, yeah, and my parents didn't, like, nobody knew like that I was
That's
getting kidnapped.
amazing.
Yeah, and I was just in my pajamas the entire time, Flintstone pajamas,
Trying to
if
think
I
if there was
recall.
any like weird shit I stole in high school. Well,
Oh,
I think I was there when somebody stole, where were we? Maybe McDonald's. I didn't do it, just to be clear.
sure.
But I think someone took a cutout of Britney Spears from like, I feel like from McDonald's or whatever, and they had it in their front window for like
That's
the longest
so
time.
great.
I don't think I did anything
Oh my God,
like
that's so
that, but we
funny.
definitely did scavenger hunts. I feel like as a kid, if I could now as an adult bring back things, it would be scavenger hunts and obstacle courses. I feel like were the two most fun things
Yeah.
that
Did you
I
guys have
did.
Bediddle where you were from?
But who?
Never
Like,
mind. You know what? I will keep this South Jersey secret, and then when we're done, I'll tell you what it
I was
was.
just trying to get you to say the second half of the word because I'm pretty sure you said bediddle.
Pediddle. That was what it was.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I said.
Ba or pa? Is it a
No,
B
it's a
or a
pa.
P? Oh, padiddle.
Yeah.
I was still just trying to get you to say diddle.
How dare you?
I
On
was like,
my
for
own
what?
show. You're like, he was very inappropriate when he had me on. It was just not good.
Listen.
He made me blur out my screen.
Ugh.
Yeah, no, that's fucking crazy though. I know. I'll tell you what that is later. But if you were gonna say yes, I would have been like yes, and then we would have continued. But it's too long to explain, and
Okay.
whatever. Yeah, no, it's
Fair.
fine. We'll cut all that too. So no, that's crazy though. So you got a bunch of shows coming up now too, and
Yeah.
then, um, is it like a revolving cat? Like, how do you like? What's your process for new members keeping the same? But like, I'm sure you work with the same people a lot, but I mean, it's got to be hard to kind of bring everybody together every time.
Yeah. So, due to my crippling anxiety, I prefer to work with the same people all the time. But
Sure.
I do, you know what? I recently branched out and brought someone new on board, and they're fantastic and
Nice.
phenomenal. And I'm so happy that I did it. But I do like to work with the same group of people because, like I mentioned earlier, once I find somebody that I feel understands the way that I work, um, in a way that makes things like efficient and obviously good.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to keep them on board. So the people that are in the Velvet Stardust Rock Show were the same people that just did the Starlight Jazz Show, the Maryland tribute also.
Okay.
And so it's kind of like once I bring you on board, you're kind of stuck with me forever kind of situation. And then I'll call you for everything. Because
Oh, that's
if I
nice.
love working with you, it's like, well, I want to work with you again, and I want to give you, you know, those opportunities, and it
Yeah.
benefits me if you're somebody
And
that's
you know,
like great to work with.
yeah,
Yeah. So a lot of the people in Velvet Stardust have been there since day one.
that's cool.
But yeah, there are a few new people. The band was like, that was a tough thing to kind of get right. And I feel like now we've got it right.
Nice.
So I love the band that I have now, and it that's see, I think like in the dance world, it might be a little different, but I guess similar. It like dancers, there are certain dancers that, like my friend Kyle that's in Velvet Stardust, him and I are very similar in the way that we move, in the way that we choreograph, in the way that we improv. So we always look good together on stage. And
Nice.
so that's something that I'm looking for, is dancers who mesh well together. And then musicians, it's the same thing, right? Like if you don't kind of feel each other's vibe, you it's not going to sound as
Sure.
good.
Yeah.
So it's like I think this group that I have now really works well together, and it comes
It
across
looks
during
really
the show.
good.
So
Yeah. Like all the stuff that you posted and stuff, I'm always just like, God, I gotta. That's the thing. It sucks about performers is like we can never really get to each other's shows because we're always
ever, it's awful.
it
Yeah.
really is. And like I stopped making. I used to do it all the time. I'd be like, I'm gonna, and afterward I just stopped making promises because I'm like, I just don't know when.
And I want to, like, I
Same.
truly want to support, but it's like if I'm not gigging that day, I'm kind of just like, or I'm with my kid, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
I have to, like,
Yeah.
give him that time. I want to give him that time where I'm not working.
Yeah. You have real
So
responsibilities.
yeah, but he's cool now. He's getting to the age where, like, he's 5, so I can take him to things. Um, and we're gonna start doing that.
Yeah.
So it'll be easier for me to support.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, absolutely. Awesome. Well, so I'm going to ask you the last 3 questions that I ask every guest.
Okay.
So just
Damn.
brace
Okay.
yourself. Yeah, I know. And I don't know if you've like, this is one of those things where I was like, if she's seen like a full one, she'll know. Cause you were like, hey, can you just give me a
I
heads up?
watched a bunch of
Oh,
them, but
you
not
did.
the
Okay.
end.
All right.
Not the end.
Oh, okay. Okay. So then you're like, I watched about 5 minutes each and then I just, and then, so, okay. So, first question's always like a bit of a softball, but if you can go back in time and talk to your younger self, what piece of advice would you give yourself that would help you today?
Trust no one. No.
Just leave it at that. Don't even just trust no one. No, it's cool. Do you want to elaborate? We can just leave it at that. That's creepy.
No.
But I like it.
Yeah, no, I was kind of kidding.
Trust no one. No, it makes sense.
Yeah. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Perfect.
I just feel like it took me until maybe this past year or two. I was just very, very like naive is not the word, because I'm not. But I was very just trusting
Yeah.
of other people, and I mean, I haven't been like wronged terribly by anyone. But when you're working in this industry and you're me that's dealing with club owners and venue owners
Dude.
and all these people and contracts and phone calls and what, you know, it took me a while to realize certain things that are now not negotiable.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, especially when you just said club owners and venue owner, like I genuinely dislike like off the bat most of those people. Like some of them are cool, but not enough, not nearly enough. So I get it. We'll move on from there before I start railing. But no. So second question, what had to end in your life, good or bad, that led you to where you are today?
Had to end. Ooh, that's a great question.
Thank you. Thank you. Do what I can.
Fear.
Ooh.
I'm very different than I was when I started auditioning and I started performing. I think I was just constantly, I mean, I do deal with like actual anxiety all the time, but
Sure.
that's different than fear.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I think I was just always fearful that I would go in and not get the job, or fearful that I would not do my best, or fearful that I wouldn't be what I needed to be for. And now I've totally, I mean, I still get that like heart pounding kind of before I go out on stage,
That's just
and I'm fearful.
excitement.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's adrenaline, but I just feel like I've dropped so much of that fear that I
Good.
had about myself, and it's helped.
That's great. Last question is, if this is a genuine dystopia, more so than it is now, and you woke up tomorrow, last day on Earth, what do you think would be the cause? Do you think it would be like political collapse, climate change, comet, alien, zombies, whatever your choice is for how it's going to end? And what's going to be your epic death? How are you going out?
I hope it's aliens.
Yes.
And I
Poveromo.
want it to be like the scene in Spice World where they come out of the spaceship and
Okay.
come for me. Yeah, I want it to
That's
be just like that. They take me
beautiful.
home, and it's yeah.
Nice
'Cause
full circle. I like that.
I often joke, but it's not really a joke. that that I want the
You
aliens
just
to
stand in
come
your backyard with your arms open every time there's like a shooter.
take,
You're
yeah,
like,
like
just fucking,
take me.
just do it.
My
No,
brother and I send memes back and forth to each other all the time about the aliens coming
oh
back
my
to take
God.
us home. So
Every time there's something going on where they're like, oh, we just spotted one in the wherever. I'm like, can I drive there? Or
can I get there now?
yeah, I know, seriously. I went out with this girl who one time was like I don't know. What it did at the time, I was just like, I don't care what the fuck she said, but she was just like,
Ooh, I'm like, where is this going?
I know, no.
It could have gotten like 10 different
It
ways.
really did, because at the same time I was like, I didn't really believe anything she was saying, but she was hot, so it worked out well. But like, it was like, oh, do you want to go to the beach? And then yeah, terrible. It's like, do you want to go to the beach? And then like, I like, my friend taught me how to commune with like aliens, and I was like, I'll go wherever the fuck. Like, she could have murdered me, and I don't think I would have given a shit. But like, I was like, yeah. Nothing happened. There was no alien. Like, I didn't think anything was gonna happen, but it would have been cool. I wanted to believe, but like you said, trust no one.
Trust except the aliens. Trust no one. I should have said trust no one from the planet Earth.
Excellent. All right, well, thanks so much for doing this. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
it was a lot
so
of
much fun. Thank you for having me.
Of course.